Hi guys, so continuing on with these reviews for some of the newer Tonic things that I just got in. You guys had seen the mystery bag from last week and I just got mine in yesterday, and a lot of people said they either had this already or they just got it in the mystery bag and would like for me to review it or try it out at least. So I'm going to do that. If I have any links in the description box, they will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase any items through those links. I do not know that this is available anywhere. I haven't checked yet, but it was one of the items that I got in my mystery bag. So it's the Verso line here, and dimensions, this crochet lace gift bag die set, 22 dies. Obviously a lot of them are inlays, these these pieces. I love this, it's so pretty. The outer die itself, and so that's what I'm kind of interested in, especially because I'm sure people are curious as far as let me pop this open. There you go. I always think that's so cute. I don't know, it's just a little thing they put on there. It's a big guy, so if you got their mystery bag and you don't have a machine that cuts this large, that's a bit of a bummer. But you know why it's not coming out? Because this guy pokes through here. There we go. It is, I'm happy to have it. It's a nice big die set, and we'll make a nice size gift bag, like an actual pretty good size little bag, pretty good size little bag, but you know what I mean. So when you look at this, there's a lot going on. There's the outer die, which is obviously your base die, so you're gonna have to cut that out twice. And then there's lots of layering pieces here if you want to add in. There's this outer die, there's, for the layering piece that would fit on top of that, there's an inner piece that you can cut into that outer die, or you can cut right into the bag die, or however you want to do it. So there's a lot going on here. What I'm going to do is grab some papers and we'll go through as we go, but again, for the side you also have a cut in, or you can also just do a topper. That way you would do the cut in plus this guy, or just this guy and have a different color. There's lots of ways to match this up. It has get well soon, it has happy oh, you know what, I think it says happy Mother's Day. Yeah, and then there's one more, congratulations. So it's for different occasions, and then whatever you have already at home, you don't have to use these particular dies. More decorative cut-ins, also just like to cut out tags. There's little lacy corners, there's all kinds of corner dies, there's all kinds of labels. Really a lot going on in here. But what I'm gonna do is make the basic bag, and then we'll see what all else we can do with it. But I will be right back with some papers and we will get to cutting. Let me tell you real quick the sizing so you have an idea. Here we go. About how big the die itself is. So this is a big die. It's almost 11.5 inches long, and it is 6.5, maybe 6 3/4 inches wide. Okay, so whatever machine you have that cuts that, you're good to go. I'll try and match it up with some of the machines I have in front of me, and I'll let you know how that works. Okay guys, so just looking at this, there is going to be a lot you can do with it. I think it's going to be really fun. So initially, to start off, we are going to use this outer die, right? The main guy, and I'm going to carefully take him off of this. I think I'm going to cut in on the sides just with the cut in, not do this extra piece, and then we'll do something fun with the front, a couple layers or however. So I'm going to get this guy out. I'm just doing it carefully, piece by piece, but as you can see. So what I want to show you is that this is a bit too wide to go through your Gemini Junior. Let me grab one of the plates. Well, let me move all these things aside for now. And the card I'm going to make is going to be sparkly, but it's going to be a little manly. And what's funny is I think I'm going to try to do this lady. Not today, because the video is going to be long enough as it is. But I have a feeling she might be fun to... Oh, perfect. That's what I was wondering. Okay. I was like, if she has a blackout, and she does, this came in the kit, or in the mystery bag, I might put her on there just to be kind of cute, something fun. So we'll see about that. But anyway, that'll be a different video. As you can see, it does hit here, but the Junior, you can only go this way. You can't bring it sideways. So if it was this way, that'd be great, but you can't put it in there unless you have the Gemini, the big guy, right? So even the big guy, no problem. It comes with larger plates. You're gonna run this through. A lot of other cutting machines would work. I think for a big shot, which is in front of me. Let me grab those plates real quick. So you guys know, obviously if you have these plates still, that's... Okay, so this is a Cuddle Bug, again, too wide, right? And you can't run it through that way. And these are big shot plates. Boop, boop, just a little bit too big, okay? So it's gonna work in my Empress. And if you have the larger plates for the Empress, that's great. I have them. I have never used them because I like to just keep using the same smaller size. So what I'm going to do is take some black paper. I have this really heavyweight black paper from Crafter's Companion. I think they call it black matte paper. And basically I'm going to trim this down real quick. So I'm just going to look at this and trim it down because I do need to get rid of some of the excess. And I'll be right back. So I'm just going to take this piece off right here. Alright, so all I'm going to do is just tape this really well because I'm going to use the same smaller plate that the Empress comes with. And that means I'm going to run it through twice, so I do not want it to shift at all. So I'm going to tape this down super well. And basically I'm going to run this first part through and then this back part, so I don't want that to move too much. So I'm going to put another piece of tape over here too. Alright, so the Empress plates are big enough to pretty much take this whole front part in, and all I have to do is come back and make sure this gets cut. You can do it this way, but you're going to have to come back and make sure this part gets cut. So I'm just going to do it long ways because that way we get more of it cut with the first pass. And you guys know I've been having some little issues with my Empress cutting, but we'll see what happens. I'm trying to get the plates without knocking over a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we don't need the rubber embossing mat. Actually, I don't know, maybe it does have some other stuff, but that's okay. So we have that, we have this, we have this guy, which I always keep the metal shim with my magnetic mat, and then the next cutting plate. And I return my machine on, and I'm going to press run, and hopefully that will cut fine. A bunch of stuff fell off on top of the Gemini Junior. I did not put things on there like it's something to rest on. Well, anyway, recently whenever I've been cutting with my Empress, it has not been cutting all the way through, and I'm like, ugh, so I gotta do something more. So I can see everything got cut, so that's good. Okay, and so we just need to cut this little bottom piece. Of course, if you're using something larger, you're not gonna have a problem with this because you can just run it through all at once. So this is a big boy, but again, I know I missed this bottom part of it, so I'm just going to put that same sandwich and run it through. And I'm going to do this twice, so we need 2 of this piece, okay? I'll be back. To be honest, I don't know why I paused there, because you guys want to see this, right? I'm like, yeah, I'll be back. Oh no, you probably want to see how you can do this. So again, it's a smaller plate, but it can cut both of them. Or the length of the piece, okay? There it is. I'm gonna do one more. Okay. It always looks like a mess, but before we super duper move on here, we're gonna take one of the sides, it doesn't matter which one, and you're gonna cut this little piece out of here, because they see right now they both have a flap. We're gonna cut one of the flaps off. Maybe I'll cut off of this one, because that comes forward. Yeah, okay. And there's this little piece here. This little guy, so we're gonna need him. And I'm assuming it goes the way it was in the direction there, so we'll just tape that down kind of around here. I don't know. And we're gonna run that through just to get that piece cut into there. And let me make sure this is okay so it doesn't get messed up as we run it through. And that's basically the base of the bag. So I guess if you wanted to leave it like that and just decorate with other things, you can do that. You can cut into it, which is, oh, that's what I was gonna do. I'm such a silly girl. There's so many things that you can do with this. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I am going to cut into the bag. So I'm gonna do that before we continue moving on, obviously, or else I won't be able to do it later. I'm gonna have to remove that later in a little bit here. So how did I do it? That way up? Okay. So I want you to notice in here, it has it up like this. But then this is cut out in a circle area, so it might be that it has to go this way. I don't know, we're gonna see. We're gonna find out. But it had it like this, so I just assumed I used it that way. This cut out side. So you can cut your own mat, you can cut just the mat, you can do an inlay on it. I mean, there's different ways you can layer this up. I'm just gonna take that piece just for funsies and trim it out of one of the sides here. So I'm just eyeballing this. I'll do the same thing on the other side. And that's going to have like, I'm trying to think if this is here. Let's see how much of this is going to get covered by that. I'm trying to see if that's a good idea or not. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that black flap. Well, it doesn't cut till that far in. I think it'll be okay. I'm going to put this here. Tape that down and run it through, and I will be right back to show you what that looks like. Okay. This low tack tape. People ask me all the time, what is that tape? It's not Scotch tape, it's low tack tape, but it's pretty much Scotch tape. But anyway, so I'll flick out all those little pieces, but look at that. Okay, so I'll do the same thing for the other side. Okay guys, so at this point, I suppose it's up to you. Do you want to add the panels that you want to add first and then put it together, or you want to put it together now and then add your panels, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. I am going to fold them a little bit first though, because this does have an interesting fold where it's kind of like curved. So I think that's harder to get to once you have things glued together. So I'm going to just kind of use my thumbs to help me push that nice curve there. So pretty. And then just get these guys going just so that I don't have to do it later. Just to have them ready right now that it's flat. And this one goes here. And there are, I suppose, a couple ways to close this up because they have a flap on either side. I'm just trying to make sure it's the top. Okay. And then we need to cut one of the tabs off on one side. And of course it's going to be the side that has the little slit. So here, we need to get rid of this guy. So I'm just going to come in. I don't know what's best, if I should follow it, just... I suppose you can use an X-Acto if you want it to be a little more precise, but that's pretty good. Okay, so we ditch that. That's done. I can put these things away. They're kind of distracting in the corner there. All right. And fold these on the line. So there's a real nice score line, but there's also some added kind of like pretty lines. So just make sure you're scoring, you're cutting on the, or folding on the score line. So we have all these pieces. Okay. And we're just going to glue it together. I'm going to use that new Nuvo glue I just picked up because I'm in love with it. But again, I always like a wet glue because it's going to hold longer, faster. Unless someone rips it, it's not really going to tear, right? Or come apart. So I'm going to stick this down right here. I'm just eyeballing it because it has that nice little curve. So pretty. And I'm going to hold this until it sticks and I'll be back. Okay, so it's not dry, but it is stuck. And these guys, I'm just also going to give them a little bit of a bend because this is going to bend inwards. You know what I'm saying? Like this. So I'm going to do that. And then this one like this. All right. And now we're going to come around and we're going to glue this together. So that's kind of why I was getting everything kind of ready. And then you can decide what you want to do with these flaps in just a minute. But let's bring this around. Ooh. That's so pretty. It's such a good size. Okay, I'm just going to bend it a little bit more. All right. And that didn't take very long. I probably held it just for a little while. I'm not sure why the Anna Griffin, the Empress, made it so shiny here. I don't know if you can see that it's shiny compared to the rest of the paper, but okay. Anyway, so I'm just going to fold this over, get that lined up there, hold it up here. And as I'm doing this, I kind of massage it and just wait for it to stick. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be back. Okay, so you don't have to do that in the air. I was holding it. You can place it down, obviously, do what you need to do. But what I want to do now, obviously, is close it up. And so these kind of came in on their own while I was working with this. So as you can see, there's a little flap on one side. Obviously, if you tuck this in, this side still has a flap. So it's not going to tuck anywhere. So if you want that to work, I would do is cut one of these off, or maybe tuck it in completely so you still have the sturdiness of this in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, get it in there. But it has to get out of the way, right? So that this can come over and then this can do this. And then that way you can still open it from the bottom. I don't know why you would want to open it from the bottom though. So what I'm going to do is just glue it down. Glue that down. and then cut this last bit off. But that's just me, so you do whatever you like. And if you were going to do this and you knew you were going to do this, you can also just use your paper trimmer, you know, to chop it off. But that's pretty much tucked in there. I probably don't need to do this, but I'm going to put some glue anyway. Sorry, that was loud. A little glue. And then this guy. Yeah. So that's just how I'm doing it. Do whatever you like. Ooh, let me get that out of the way. I know a lot of you guys said you already have this, or like I said, that you just got it with the bundle. Let me put that down. I always like to kind of just get as far as I can in one of these. This is a big guy. It's harder for me to get down to the bottom. Normally it's like a little bag and I can use my own hands, you know, my fingers can reach down there. And so I'm going to leave this weight in here to keep it closed up. But hopefully you guys have tried yours out. If you haven't yet, hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of how to put it together. Again, I'm doing it kind of how I think it's going. But so I'm going to leave that there. But I do want to show you when you close it up, how cute is that? Oh my gosh. And then this is going to tuck into that little slit that we put. Love it. Okay. I'm going to kind of train it too while I'm here. And I'm going to let that dry and I'll be back. Okay, I'll put this to the side while I have some weights in there. Weights. They're just bottles of glue. So we have this portion here. So if you look at the pictures, you know, there's lots of things you can do. It could just be just this outer piece. And then this one, you know, has a two-tone. So I'm going to do something like this, but I'm assuming I'm just going to cut them both out completely. I suppose you don't have to cut out this whole other part of the bottom color, you know, but I'm going to do whatever's easier. So for the outer one, actually, let's go ahead and cut the inner color first and see what happens. So I do have some silver paper I'm going to use. This mirror card here that looks lovely. And to be honest, to save it, to not use it up, I may, like I said, if this works, oh, it fits all, okay. I was gonna say, if I need to cut it shorter just because this doesn't, you know, come across the whole thing, I would just cut away some of the silver, right, and not worry about it, but it fits perfectly. So what I'm gonna do is cut out 2 of these. And I suppose if you don't want to decorate the back of the box, you don't have to, but I'm gonna cut out 2 of these and just run them through and I will be right back. You guys are so awesome. I was going to say thank you for the tip, whoever, you know, this was always leaving marks on my paper, regardless of what kind of paper, but especially on this kind of metallic paper, you don't want it to get, you know, warped and ugly. And everyone told me, just put a piece of typing paper or printer paper or whatever. I just had this and it absorbed the marks while this did not. So thank you guys so much for that tip you had given me in the past. Let me be careful with this. Okay. So now we have these 2 gorgeous pieces of silver. Look how pretty those are. Okay, so the other 2, what I'm going to do to cut out is the perforated part, or, well, it's not really perforated. What's the word? The die cut part. I'm going to take that other middle piece. And then there's even more. So you can cut out these. You can use these guys separately. You can cut them in. Well, actually, if you cut them in, it's going to cut a big hole. But you can still do that because if you use those to cut into here, you're just going to see black through that area, you know? So there's all kinds of ways you can mix and match this. But I'm going to take this guy. And I'm going to cut this out from some blue paper I have over here. I did want to mention about their papers is that they are 8.5 by 11, so there's no waste. I know with like other European, I guess, papers or sizes, sometimes it's 8.25 by whatever other size, so you can't get your 8.5 straight across, get your standard A2 size card because you have to cut it basically into the whole paper, the length, and then cut up your 5.5, and it just kind of wastes paper. But I do have this left over from a project from earlier, so I'm going to use that, and I'm going to put this on here too. And again, just tape it really well so I can do it both in one shot. But if you feel more comfortable cutting out the outer and then the inner, or the inner then the outer, however you want, I always just do it this way, unless that's not possible. And these do run right through the Empress because the size is different right now that we don't have those bottom flaps. So I'll run this through and I'll be back. Okay, they both cut out really nicely, really quickly, easily. Obviously quickly, they just run through the machine, but and then everything just popped out as far as like the little pieces here, but I wanted to clean those up before I came back because then I had to go and clean it up, and so I went ahead and took time to do that. And as you can see, I have things all over here. And I shouldn't do this. I've been throwing them right on the floor because then I have to sweep them up myself. But guess where they're going? Right to the floor. All right. Okay. Very pretty. I love the way these just look so nice. And then I'm going to stack up one of these on top of each one. And it does cover up, obviously, quite a bit of what you got going on there. But you see that silver coming through and it's so pretty. So, adhere this any way you like. I know we all have our preferences. If you want, you know, your Xyrons, your whatever it is. But I'm going to mostly stick this on here. And then I'm going to let that go through my hand, but I do want to make sure that the very edges get quite a bit so they stay down. And then the rest of it I'm going to pat, pat, pat all over my hand. What I've noticed about this glue, and maybe, I don't know, I haven't used it for too long, a couple days here, I don't think it dries shiny, so that's always nice. So I'm just matching this up completely from the base here up, and it should match up pretty well. What's nice about having that metallic underneath is that you can probably slide it around a little better than if it was just like another piece of rough, you know, regular cardstock. And I'm going to hold this down, and you guys know I like to, well, I'll use this paper towel since I have a paper towel here, but I usually like to put just a regular towel, little cloth that I have over this. Clean that up. And I'll be back. I'm going to do the same with the other set. I think I'm done holding these down. I can bring this over, drop my weights, and I'm just going to get these guys down. So on their site, this is available now. I did check, and if you didn't get the mystery bag, or if your mystery bag happened to have something different from last week, I know I bought this Wednesday's, so we'll see what that looks like. But most people told me that theirs was what I got. I'm just eyeballing this and just making sure to tuck that. Remember, we have that little slit there, so you want to make sure that that's still accessible. I think we should be okay. I'm trying to eyeball where that slit is at. It's a little bit low, so what I'm going to do is just make sure to keep that not from gluing together. So maybe bring it up just a little bit more next time. You know what I'm saying? I brought it down a little bit too low. So we learn. All right, I'm going to hold this down, and I'm going to do the same thing for the back side, but that side doesn't going to matter where I put it. Well, you want to center it, obviously, like that. That's kind of where it goes anyhow, and I will be right back. Okay, guys, I was holding that down. Wow. First of all, this glue dries very fast. Again, if you're doing cardstock to cardstock, I did have some maneuverability on the shiny paper, because like I said, because it is shiny, it's slick. But once you stick it down on something like that's more just your regular cardstock, it sticks. Okay, so be careful with that. And then next time we know to cut that little slit maybe a little bit higher, like just about here. I would say like maybe a 1/4 inch down. I did a little bit more, so I would say about here. Okay, hopefully that, just so you can see that whole opening. It's there, but you know, when you give it to your recipient, maybe they won't notice it. But again, you're going to give it to them when it's sealed, so they'll probably remember. Tuck that in there, but that's how it is. And maybe that's how it, I don't know. That's how I would do it. But there you go. Really pretty. Of course, there's tags in this set. There's all kinds of other things. I just want to do the basic bag. Some of the examples they had on their site were just so pretty, and it's just simply layering them up. Again, you have all these different things. You have the little banner you can put across here. You have these little corner pieces that you can still cut and then add into these corners if you want to dress that up. And there's several of those kind of corner pieces. The smaller ones I'm assuming are for the side because they're smaller. So they have smaller corner pieces and the larger ones, and several tags. You know, there's a lot going on. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that kind of helps a little bit about how to put it together. Other than, you know, maybe putting that a little bit too low, I think I did okay. It is a very sturdy bag, so I would definitely, you know, use a sturdy cardstock for your base especially. But I think once you've layered it up this many times, it feels really thick, like ridiculously thick. Like I said, I think I want to do is that little pinup girl. and then add her on here. So we will finish up the bag, like add that little embellishment in another video very soon, probably after a couple days, because I do have some Spellbinders things to get to, more Tonic things that they had sent for review. This was something I purchased, but I need to get to those. My Spellbinders monthly kit came in, and so there's lots to get to. And then later today, Freeform Friday, and that one I think is going to be fun. I am going to use one of the dies from the issue 12 magazine of Tonic, and then I told you guys maybe it's going to be kind of like a busted out, but also Freeform Friday, so I have some idea of what I'm going to bust out for that, and I think it'll be a cute little project, so hopefully you guys will like it, and I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you in just a bit. Bye now.